friends, it's Megan, Georgia Girl Stitching here on YouTube and on Instagram. It is Saturday, February 15th, 2025, and I'm finally back for my first video of 2025. Long time no see. I'm so sorry. It has been a wild beginning to this year. But we're here. We've been stitching, we've been working, we've been doing all the things. So I'm super happy to be back. I'm super excited to be back. And I have a lot of stitching to show you. So I hope you all had a good January. January I know was wild weather-wise, and February is kind of starting off with a bang as well. And then I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day, whatever that looked like for you yesterday. For me, it looked like having dinner with a couple of neighbors and hanging out with my puppies. So I know a couple of people have asked how the dogs are doing. The dogs are living with me for right now. My husband is a physician in the military and is doing things, so the pups are living with me. And yeah, it's been so nice having them home actually for a time. Lot less room in the bed, but for the best reasons. So it's been good having them home. I've actually had this last week off, so it's been a good like transition week of, having them full time again, which I haven't had since July of last year. So I have had a little bit of an uptick in subscribers, so I was gonna do like a little intro of like who I am if you're new here, so you don't have to like figure out what video to watch to figure out what my life is. I am a pediatric resident here in Virginia. My husband is a physician in the military. He's stationed in North Carolina, so his orders changed last minute, so we're living separately right now, but he's able to come home pretty frequently, and I'm able to see him pretty frequently. The dogs kind of go back and forth, whatever makes sense. I've got two dogs, Tank and Kaya. Tank is about to turn 8, and Kaya is an 18-month-old. They're both labs. They might pop their head in. They're back there playing. So, and we live I live in Virginia, and my local needle workshop is Liberty Hill, which is amazing. And yeah, that's kind of like the basics. So my name, Georgia Girl Stitching, I went to University of Georgia, which you can see in the pillow. So forever Georgia girl, even though I don't live in Georgia anymore. So yeah, this is a little bit about me. If I think of anything else, I'll say it. I'm in the first year of my training. So I graduated medical school May of last year. And so I'm a PGY1, pediatric resident. So yeah, that's where we're at. And I haven't been back since my whip parade in the middle of December. So it's definitely time for a catch up. I finished my last set of boards before my pediatric boards in the middle of January. So I've had a good amount of like evening stitching time, which has been great. So I have a couple of finishes, a couple of starts and finishes, and then quite a few whips and some plans. So this year, overall, my theme for 2025 is I am trying to get finishes. I don't want to be monogamous with my stitching, but I am trying to be focused with my stitching. So while I'm still going to have quite a few patterns or quite a few whips that I work on in a month, I definitely want to try to get some things done. I have about 12 pieces that I would love to get done this year. I think that's probably too big of a goal, but I'm kind of I went through the other day, there's 6 that I seriously want to finish or need to finish because they're gifts this year. So there's 6 that are my ultimate goals. Some I worked on, some I haven't yet, but I am also doing Whip Go this year, sort of. So there's the 12 that I want to finish. The rest of my whips that are not those 12, I put on my Whip Go board. In addition to a couple of new starts that I know I want to do this year. I historically am not great at actually keeping up with Whip Go. So we'll see. It's a nice goal because I ultimately want to touch all of my whips every year. So Whip Go kind of helps me do that, but I have yet to finish a whip go ever. I didn't even do January, so I'm off to not a great start. But I like to keep up with it, at least in case I do get like this weekend, I want to hit my February goals, my whip go goals. So even if it's just like 100 stitches, my whip go goals are just progress. I don't have anything specific this year. It's like if I can get 1 stitch in, that's progress, you know. Ultimately, I'd love to get more than that, but at least 100 is kind of my baseline goal for whip go. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm gonna try to come back at least once a month. Again, not off to a great start with that for 2025, but that is usually my goal. And now that, like, I don't want to say things are calmer, but there's gonna be a little less travel in my life and traveling, that I can hopefully make that work. But yeah, so yeah, let's jump into it. I'm a little out of practice. It's been a while, so bear with me. This is FlossTube 53, and I started in April of 2020. So we're coming up on 5 years, which is also crazy to think about how much has changed in 5 years. So I'm gonna start with my finish. This is like my big finish for so I started this July of last year, and it's a gift, so it's like I really wanted to get it done. If you've been following me, you've seen this a lot lately. But this is what I'm calling Tree of Life. This is the original pattern, and then I heavily modified it to be a 30th anniversary gift for my parents, whose 30th anniversary is next month. So their Tree of Life is one of their symbols, and so then I heavily modified it to represent them and be their colors and their like symbols that matter to them. So this is where my finish. This is stitched on 40 count Snowy Pine by Color and Cotton. And it was so much fun to stitch. Those 4 white corners did get repetitive by the end of it, but I am so in love. Also, my lighting is not the best today. Unfortunately, it is gloomy outside. So working with the best lighting that I have. But it's a lot, the colors are a lot bright, like the browns and greens are a lot brighter than they're showing up. They look very dark, but they are actually quite bright. So this is the Celtic love knot. This is what their wedding rings are. So that's where that came from, and their information. And then I used a DMC Light Effects for the 30 because I just didn't have a metallic that was in the right shade of gold. So I just got a DMC Light Effects that worked. Yes, it was a pain to work with, but we made it happen. And then I actually backstitched if you saw my last video, I was like complaining that like I can't tell that it's the love knot, like the colors weren't contrasting enough. So I ended up deciding to backstitch it. And so now in person you can really tell what that is. But yeah, so I'm very happy about this. They were here last week. Earlier this week. Gosh, earlier this week feels like a long time ago. They were here earlier this week, and I was able to show them what it looked like, and they loved it. So now I just need to get it framed, and which I don't have a timeline on that. So they at least were able to see it before their 30th, and then hopefully I'll be able to get to them in a decent time. But there's Bubba. There's Tanky. But yeah, so that was my big finish. And I love it so much. It really was so much fun to stitch. Someone had asked what colors I used, because clearly like I changed, this was a monochromatic piece originally. So the colors in the trunk, or like the trunk of the tree, is 801 and 938. The green of the tree and then the outside and back stitching were 904 and 988. And then the gold rings are 3820 and 3822. I did not write down the DMC light effects. I'll put that in the description box, what the DMC light effect number was, if you're interested. It's a really good gold. I wish it wasn't such a pain to work with. But yeah, Honestly though, I liked the DMC Light Effects a lot more than I like Kreinik. I would still choose DMC over Kreinik. I hate Kreinik, but Petite Treasure Braid is usually my go-to. But yeah, that's that one. Very excited. So I'll show it again once it's framed and all of that. My next finish is actually my newest design, which is on my Etsy page. I think it's also on my Gumroad. I think I got it in both places. So this is my newest design. I finished this yesterday. It only took me 3 days to stitch, and this is called Risen, and it's kind of in preparation for Easter coming up. Oh, there's Kaya. In preparation for Easter coming up, this is my newest design, and it is on 40 Count Dried Violets by Color and Cotton. Oh, that's coming up so well. This was a pain to photograph. Like, it was not, I could not photograph this fabric color to save my life, but we made it work well enough for the cover photo. But this is such a good, it's even actually a little brighter than that, but it's just stitched in DMC white. And my vision for this is that you would frame like up against this would be framed or finished or whatever, right up against the edge of the mat or frame. And then that way it kind of like, and then you would have more of the fabric showing. So a 40 count, I think I did the math, a 40 count with a mat would fit in a 6x9 or 8x10 frame. I haven't obviously framed it yet, but that's kind of my vision, is in a white frame with either a white mat or no white mat around it with a little bit of like fabric showing. And then that's it. And it's like 1,200 stitches. I was able to stitch it in about, well, I had the last few days off, so I was able to get it done in about 3 days. And it was so easy to stitch. So this is my Easter pattern. And yeah, and you can find this in my Etsy and Gumroad shop. I want to try and get this like fully finished by Easter is my goal as well. So yeah. And then, yeah, it's actually a pinkier like purple than that, but you get the idea. The next one is actually my new start. And this one, the second I saw it, I was obsessed with it. So this is A Really Good Day by Jan Hicks Creates. She released this pattern, like the paper pattern, in December, but I really just like PDF patterns because I use Pattern Keeper like for everything, to the point where I'm like recharting my paper patterns to put them into Pattern Keeper. So when she released the paper version, I originally was like, oh, that's going to be my New Year, New Start. But she didn't release the PDF until like middle of January. So I held out for the PDF. So I got it. David was actually home, and I love what Jan Hicks did with it. I think it's gorgeous. But my vision is I want it like super bright and vibrant, so that like I have it like by the front door or something. And like every time I see it, like I'm like, okay, today is going to be a really good day. Like just to immediately put it like in a really good mood. So I went to my stash, and actually it was fun. David was helping me with it. We completely color converted it. We kept the same theme with it, the same idea, but just bright. And then also I did change, so I think I assume I've had the pattern up this whole time. One of the flowers I'm also changing to purple. So I added in purple, and it so it wasn't just the pinks. But I am stitching this on 40 Count Glacier by Color and Cotton. And I am at 50% on it, and I'm obsessed. I love it so much. If you're interested in what my color conversion is, I'm happy to share. But I love this so much. Like it's just so happy. It makes me so happy to work on it. It is such a fun piece. And you get like little mini finishes. Each little tank has the toy that Kaya wants. And then, yeah, so it's like a stained glass look, each little finish. So I love it so much. So this has now become my 13th project that I want finished. Originally the year started with 12 and now I'm at 13. But I'm gonna pull it back so you can get an idea of the fabric. The fabric's even a little, it looks very much like a sky. So it just I love it. Jan Hicks is amazing. So there's a couple of accidental modifications on this piece with spacing. I did mess up a little bit in here, but it works. I made it work. So I just fudged it. And you still get the same effect. So no problem. So this is now purple, which was originally, like these were originally the same. So I changed this to purple. And so these are the pinks. And then there's another flower down here that's charted in pinks that I'm gonna do in the purples. So that way it's like balanced. And if you're, like I said, you're interested in any of my colors, feel free to let me know. It's mostly just all from Stash. The only thing that's not variegated is the white. I kept the white the same, or I kept the white B5200. But everything else is a variegated of some sort. So, I love it so much. It just makes me so happy to look at it. And this is, yeah, I'm at like 52%, I think. So halfway down. The sun is just magnificent. So, yeah, okay. I love it. And then, so that was my new start. My New Year new start, which was a little bit later. Actually, if there had been, if I bought the paper pattern, I probably would have tried to have made that like my blessing sampler. That's like a new thing that I haven't heard about it from before this year. I know it's existed before this year, but I hadn't heard about blessing samplers until this year, where like you start something and try to finish it in January and then that like blesses your stitching for the rest of the year or something. If I had everything put together, that would have probably been it. So I'm just gonna try and get it done at some point this year and then it can bless me for the rest of the year. But yeah. And then I kind of got on to so since then I have like monthly pieces that I'm trying to work on. And then I have like 100 stitches a day goals. So since David, is now doing David things, I've decided that I'm going to work on my Shores of Hawker Hollow. I'm going to try and do 100 stitches a day every day that he's gone. And then I'm hoping that I'll have it finished by the time he comes back. So we are, so I started this when I brought the dogs home. And I've been doing 100 stitches a day, every day, at least. There was a couple days that I was like doing like 400 stitches. So I definitely haven't done just 100 stitches, but a minimum of 100 stitches every day he's gone. And in case you haven't seen it before, so this is the original Shores of Hawker and Hollow. It's by Carriage House Samplings. So this is the original. And then I did try starting the original and it just wasn't happening. I was never working on it. I was never doing anything with it. So I recharted it and converted all the colors to much brighter or variegated. And this is what I'm stitching. And this is my mock-up of what I'm stitching. And then actually, if you're interested in even another option, Laura from Stitching by the Shore, who's been doing this as well, she's even modifying it even further. So she's doing a truncated version as well, and hers is gonna look great too. So it's kind of a choose your own adventure type piece. But this is so when I started it, I got 2 blocks done. I was trying to get 2 blocks done per year. That didn't happen last year, but my goal is to try and finish this year before he comes home. So I'm doing this on 40 count platinum, and I'm gonna start by trying to show you the whole thing and then I'll go in further. But here's where we're at. So I love this piece so much. I've changed quite a bit. So obviously the colors are all my own choices based on the original. So like the red, like that color scheme is generally the same. I just chose my own version, like from Stash. So the top 2 are done. And then some immediate changes, some obvious changes that I did turn this light on, or I turned this window yellow to make it look like it's on. I extended her dress a little bit to make it look more like a dress, because I feel like in the original it looks more like a jumper. Trying to think what else oh baby. And then this I finished last year along with this part, and I finished all the outline. I actually finished, I would say, like, collectively, if you added everything together that I did last year, it probably equaled a block. It just wasn't all in one block, because last year, so this was the first year, I finished these two. And then last year I did this whole block, the dolphin and the words, all of the outlines, and then the top half of this block. So this year, since I picked it up, I've gotten the octopus, the whale, and all the water in. So I'll bring it in closer. This is what I've actually worked on this year. That whale was so much fun. I outlined the whale and then I just filled him in. The mouth is a little hard to see now, but you still get the idea. And then I can't decide, and I'm curious, I cannot figure out if I should put an eye on this whale or not. Like, he's not charted to have an eye, but everything else has eyes. So I kind of like am wondering if he should have an eye. And I would go like, I don't know, like right here or something. Let me go fix the toy situation. Okay, we'll see if that fixed anything. So yeah, so this is so I'm finishing up this water right now, which is a lot of water. I probably have like another 2,000 stitches-ish, maybe 1,500 stitches of just water. And then I move up to this last block. So yeah, it's really exciting. I really can see the finish line in a lot of ways, you know, especially once I get this water done. If you're interested in what any of these colors are, I will, when I'm fully done, I will definitely like share my conversion. So on my Gumroad, I have for free all of like a list of all my conversions that I've done. So once this is actually done, I'll do the same thing for this one. A lot of the things are from Stash, and I don't know if you can get them anymore, but you can at least maybe you have them in your Stash too and you want to use it. But I love this piece so much. So that's my Shores of Hawker and Hollow. So you'll see this for a while, pretty much until it's done, because I plan to work on 100 stitches a day until it's done. A minimum 100 stitches a day. Okay, and then next with this one, I'm trying to theoretically get done by the end of spring. So I have until June. When does summer start? Summer starts in June, yeah. So I have a little bit of time. This one I'm also trying to do, not necessarily 100 stitches a day, but I'm trying to make progress on it each week, I should say. This is, well, it doesn't have a real name. So Vlada X Stitch is on Etsy, and she has a whole series of gorgeous butterflies. And I've loved so many of them. So what I've done is I've picked out 5 of them, and I'm doing one per season. And so each season I'll flip over to the next butterfly. So I just started this in December, ish, with spring butterfly, and with my hope to finish it by the end of spring. It's like 5,300 stitches, so it's doable. I just need to work on it. And then I definitely, like, a lot of times with seasonal things, people will start each one on their season. I only want to start the next one when I finish the previous one. So I'm not going to start summer until I finish spring, just to keep it manageable and not feel overwhelmed. I'm at 31 whips right now, and that just feels, everyone has their magic number. My magic number, where I would like truly feel comfortable and be like, okay, I've got a handle on all of this, would be like 20, 25. So I'm a little over my comfort level. I'll be right back again. You hasn't heard about the dogs. They haven't been home when I've been doing this. Okay, let's try this again. So back to the butterfly. So all that to say, this is my spring butterfly that I'm calling it, from Vlada X Stitch. It is on Spearmint Medium from Color and Cotton, and this is how far I've gotten on it. I assume I've showed the cover photo at this point. And here's where we're at. And so I love the blues. I've got a blue and a white one in. And yeah, just kind of keep plugging away on this one. And hopefully have it done before summer starts. All right. And then the last whip that I've worked on since my whip parade is Winter Gnome by Wonder Stitch UA. I'm working on the gnome with the braided hair. I'm doing this on 46 count raw. I'm not doing the background or the little circle at the bottom and the platform at the bottom. And this is how far I've gotten. I've mostly worked on her hair. So last time you saw her, the flower was all done, that whole area. So this time I focused on the hair. And I just love her. Those colors are just magnificent. And the hair coming in really kind of starts bringing her all together. She's not just like this random nose out in the middle of nowhere. So I love it. This is one that I would like to finish this year. I have low hopes of that. But we'll see. Winter comes around again at the end of the year, so we'll see. But I'm kind of losing, not steam, but not losing steam, but it's not, bring it up close. It's not calling to me right now. So yeah, so that's where we're on that. So those are all my whips and my new starts. I don't know if you can see Kai back there. And then Take's down here now. So I have a couple of plans. So first, now that I finished that present for my parents, my next gift that I want to work on is for David, his 30th birthday, my husband. His 30th birthday is at the end of this year. He's obsessed with Lord of the Rings. So I want to stitch him this piece as one of his gifts for his birthday. And this is Hobbit House from Cottage Garden Samplings. And then I am doing the door color conversion from Brenda, Handwork Maniac. She converted the door to greens to look more like the movie. Kaya. To look more like the movie. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing this on 40 count Snowy Pine by Color and Cotton, which is the same fabric for my parents' piece. And turn it around. And this is as far as I've gotten. So not very far. This is one that I had converted to, I recharted the PDF into Pattern Keeper into a PDF so I can put it in Pattern Keeper. And this is as far as I've gotten. So it needs a lot of work. I still have like 7,500 stitches left on it. So his birthday's in December, so I have a good amount of time, but in order to like stitch it and finish it and all of those things, I need to get moving on it. So this is going to become one of my other 100 stitches a day, hopefully, pieces, or at least like make good progress on it each week. Using all the called for flosses, and then just changing. I'm going to use the greens that are in the piece already for the door. And then my whip go for this month that I still need to accomplish is, the one I need to work on still is in All Tides. This was in a magazine, which I'll link. I got the magazine on pocketmag.com, and I'll link that down below. It was the April 2022 or 2023. I don't remember which one I'll have it all down below. I don't remember what the name of the magazine was. It's one of the UK cross stitch magazines. And so this is one of our special quotes for us is, in high tide or low tide, I'll always be by your side. And, so I started this for our anniversary last year, and this is as far as I've gotten. So this is on 40 count flax. So I need to put some progress into this before the end of the month. she wants to play. That's why she's whining. There's a toy that she wants to play with, and mommy's doing FlossTube and not playing, and we're complaining about it. So, and then my last piece, so this is, I'm gonna start working on again in March. But I want to go ahead and show you now in case I'm not, you know, back before. This is definitely one of my plans. This was in the April 2024, Just Cross Stitch magazine. He is Risen. I started this with Laura by Stitching by the Shore for Easter last year. And again, I'm doing a complete color conversion on this one. I'm doing it on 40 count color and cotton spearmint medium as well. And this is as far as I've gotten. The biggest change I'm making, so all the colors are converted, but they're like still in the same realm. The biggest change is that I changed the mound from brown to green. So, and then I'm playing around with, we'll see once I have all the colors in, all the sun in, I'm playing around also back stitching the crosses to with a very light purple, like 3747 or something, just to make them stand out a little bit more. But we'll see once I get further along on that. I found all 4 sides. I cut a really big piece and I'm not sure why. But that is all the sides have been found. So yeah. And again, if you want this conversion, just let me know. I have it written down right here. But not very well written. So yeah. Anyway. So that's the last of my plans. And that's it for my stitching. So March's Whip Go hasn't been called yet. So I need to catch up on February's and maybe January's if I get around to it. And then only other big stitching plans is Liberty Hill Needleworks is doing a stitch in next Saturday. And the location, the venue is literally in my neighborhood. So I can literally walk there. So I'll be doing that next Saturday. And then taking care of little ones. These puppies. Tinky's, I'm going to show you Tinky because it's been a minute. Say hey, Baba. Say hi, Tinky. So yeah. So they've kind of become most of my, daily life is dealing with them and then working, of course. So, but yeah, my hope is to be back sometime in March. I don't know when in March, but sometime in March. And I hope you all have a wonderful stitching time. And I'm going to go deal with that little thing back there. Thank you all for your support and comments and likes and subscribes and all the fun things. Thank you so much. And I'll see you soon. Happy stitching, everyone.